My name's Duddy, set up builds and stuff. Today's video is about an underrated catalyst and quite an underrated exotic weapon, the mighty Microcosm. The new catalyst gives it fresh and stopping power. This is actually pretty good because I've seen a lot of videos saying it's not very good, but it is actually very good. And after we've take a look at the catalyst and the weapon, I'll also be showing you a little build what's going to maximise massive damage with this weapon and getting our supers back incredibly fast, featuring harsh refraction. So we'll take a look at everything, the catalyst, what it does, and a little build at the end. So stay with me, I'll break the video down. So to start off with, we'll start off with the weapon itself, Microcosm, exotic trace rifle, kinetic, very special weapon. It fires a beam of kinetic light and it deals massive bonus damage to shields. Paracores at imbuement, final blows with this weapon grant super energy. This weapon gains bonus damage when your super expires, so it refills the magazine and it gives you 20% increased damage for 20 seconds once the super reaches 0. 20% on this thing is absolutely huge, and of course the catalyst now. So the catalyst, like I said, I've seen a few videos said it's not working or it's not very good. Now the first part is fresh. Killing combatants with this weapon generates a small amount of super energy. That part isn't particularly great if I'm honest, but the bottom part is this weapon's kinetic ordnance can more easily stagger combatants and grant increased target acquisition and damage against low health targets. So we've got fresh on there and basically stopping power. They're the two perks. So to start off with the weapon, like I said, it fires a laser beam like that. Very, very nice. And it absolutely shreds shields. Now, if you're running high-end content where you get a lot of void shields and solar shields and things like that, this weapon is absolutely insane for shield damage. It just absolutely wrecks them. You can, of course, pair it with two-piece tech sec as well for even more shield damage. But there you go. Now, we'll also take a look at the fresh part. Like I said, the fresh, if you just keep an eye on my super energy, it's not absolutely insane, but it's okay. It's a nice little top-up. I wasn't very impressed with the fresh. It's not really a very good perk, but it's an okay little bonus. Now, the second part, like I said, the stopping power part of this weapon, the bit that it says getting kinetic ordnance could do more damage and easily stagger. This is between 7 and 15%. Now, I've seen a couple of videos saying this isn't working or whatever, but it is actually working. It's just what it is if you're using it against targets that are going to die fast, it's not going to proc. So you can see there, it's not really proccing at all. It stayed at 108. I tried loads of times. It works sometimes, but you want to be using it against tanky targets. So you'll see here, it gets to 19, up to 23. And then the number is just going to keep ramping up until that enemy dies. So it goes up to 15%. So you'll see there, 25, 26s, 27s. I think it finishes at about 28. So you get an extra 7% to 15% extra damage. And like I said, make sure you use it on tankier targets to see the benefits. Because if you use it against these little hobgobs or things like that, you're not even going to see it work because they're going to die quick anyway. Very importantly, I want to show you this one as well. Just look at my transcendent energy at the bottom. As well as you're getting little bits of super back from the fresh, it builds your transcendence up insanely quick. Just look how fast that transcendence is building. So I just wanted to throw that one in there as well. Incredibly fast transcendence. So now what I want to do is build on some damage. So harsh refraction on the tablet of ruin trace rifles do more damage to targets inflicted by elemental debuffs matching their element type. Obviously, Microcosm is kinetic, so we don't have any kinetic buffs. However, Microcosm works with any buff and you get 20% extra damage. So just for an example, Facet of Solitude, where we're going to get a severing blast and sever the target, we're going to start off at 55, then you're going to see it go up to 65 once that severing effect applies. So just to clarify, Microcosm works with any buff. You get 20% free extra damage when you apply any debuff. And of course, you get that stopping power on top of that as well, that extra 7 to 15%. Now, because it works with any debuff, you obviously want to be applying weakening effects, whether it's from your smoke bomb or your magnetic grenade, because you're going to get the 20% from harsh refraction and the weakening as well. So you'll see it go up even further to 75. So we've gone from 55 to 65 and then to 75 once you apply weakening. So for me, you want to be focusing on weakening, because that is going to be giving you the best damage buff, in my opinion, especially on a hunter, where you can just dodge for your snare bombs back infinitely, keeping that damage up So harsh refraction, weakening, very, very nice. Now, obviously, Shadow Shot on the Hunter gives you a 30% debuff. And we've got to take into account when you use your super, the Paracausal Imbuement from the Microcosm, the exotic perk, will also give you 20% extra damage. So when you use your super, you're getting an extra 20% damage. We're also going to get 30% debuff from the Tether, and we're going to get 20% extra damage from the harsh refraction. So it all works incredibly well. You can see that Paracausal Imbuement there, that's 20% when you use your super, 30% debuff, add in the harsh refraction, and you're good to go. Absolutely huge damage, and you're going to charge that Transcendent insanely fast. Guys, it is ridiculously big damage for a trace rifle. Really, really nice. Now, you can imagine that stopping power. This is why I think it's sort of underrated a little bit. The stopping power perk, if you can imagine that now, I showed you the first clip. Now, you can imagine that with like some debuffs on there and a harsh refraction kicking in. And even if you've got the Paracausal Imbuement going as well, this unstop isn't even staggered, unstopped. And you'll just see the health just dissolving as he starts to get lower. Just look how fast that goes down. That is the stopping power paired up with harsh refraction and the weakening and everything. So you can see there, once it gets down to the low health, he just gets absolutely rinsed. Look at the state of it. He just goes down so fast. And like I said, he's not even unstopped. So massive damage. Orpheus Rig is the exotic I choose to run on a Hunter because it provides ability energy for each target tethered by deadfall anchors. You're going to get loads of super energy back as well if you kill these targets. So just look how much super energy I'm getting back. Absolutely nuts. And again, you're taking advantage of all of that damage, what we've just talked about, the Paracausal Imbuement, the debuffs, the harsh refraction, etc. Your stopping power as well. I think it fits the bill perfectly. Now, we've got gear sets in the game as well as Orpheus Rig, so Iron Banner gear set. This will give you extra damage on your primary ammo weapons, and it gives you super energy as well. So pairing that up with your Orpheus Rigs. Now watch what happens to this barrier champ. Look at the state of that. He gets absolutely rinsed. And again, that stopping power, I'm not going to keep banging on about it, but you will notice when they get to that low health, their health bar just literally disintegrates. It's gone. Look at that. Absolutely gross. I really like Orpheus Rig and Iron Banner gear for this little build because, like I said, you are taking advantage of everything the Microcosm's got to offer, really. Getting the 20% from casting your super plus the 30%. Loads of damage, loads of ad clearing capabilities, loads of weakening for you and your teammates. And you can keep spamming your super as well. And again, just watch this unstop. Just look, it gets absolutely destroyed. Really, really good. And you can just keep spamming your super left, right, and centre with your Orpheus Rig and your Iron Banner, and like I said, taking full advantage of everything. After this clip, I've got one more little clip to show you against the barrier. I'll leave my fragments, etc., so you can copy. I'll also leave a dim link. If you just watch this barrier champion here, I'm going to apply my Void debuff via my Magnetic Grenade and Facet of Dominance, or you can easily just throw your Snare Bomb, and they just don't stand a chance. Once you get down to that low health bit, they just start disintegrating. Just look how fast that is, guys, and what a joke. Like I said, I will leave a dim link, but I'll leave my fragments like so, because I'm not meant to be doing a full build. I just got into it a little bit and ended up making a full build. I'm just meant to be doing a review. There's my stats. You don't really need high super, to be honest, because you get it back really fast anyway. Tablet of Ruin, like I said, some other things on there as well that may be interesting. Couple of heavy ammo finders, kinetic surges, kinetic scavenger on your mods. Like I said, I will leave a dim link anyway. The other thing I like with this particular build as well, you can actually use it for DPS as well. So you can use it for ad clearance. And if you are like a hunter, void hunter, just bang the tether on, help your teammates, and you still can put out some decent damage yourself as well. So versatile, not saying it's like a DPS build or anything like that, but it's not bad all round. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.